Brian Laundrie's murder confession has finally been released, and the last words of the killer will chill you to the bone. In October 2021, human remains were found in Florida's Carlton Reserve. Those remains, as well as a number of other personal belongings discovered nearby, were later confirmed to belong to Brian Laundrie, the fiancé of aspiring van life influencer Gabby Petito. Among the other personal effects found in the reserve was a backpack, a notebook, and a revolver, all of which belonged to Laundrie. After months of being kept secret, some of the written contents of Laundrie's notebook have now been revealed.
Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items, such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie.
Petito had disappeared in a high-profile missing person case for several weeks before Laundrie's remains were recovered. Her body was eventually discovered in Wyoming's Bridger-Teton National Forest on September 19, 2021, where the couple had traveled. Laundrie himself went missing a short time after returning to his parents' home in Florida. He was a person of interest in Petito's disappearance and death, which was caused by strangulation, according to the coroner's report. At the time, Laundrie was also suspected of using a debit card and PIN that did not belong to him after Petito's last known contact with family members, charging in excess of $1,000. Both the items found in Laundrie's remains were submerged in water for some time, which delayed their discovery by authorities. A forensic examination revealed that Laundrie's remains had been partially eaten by animals. Authorities searching for Brian Laundrie at the reserve were led there on a tip from his parents. In the notebook recovered by authorities, Laundrie confessed in writing to killing Petito. Shortly before Petito disappeared, authorities engaged with the couple while they traveled in Utah. A concerned bystander reported a possible domestic disturbance, as CNN notes. In that report, a man, later confirmed to be Laundrie, was seen slapping and hitting a woman who was identified as Petito. Petito and Laundrie declined to press charges and were instructed to spend the night apart. Petito was visibly upset in her interaction with authorities.
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
Though the notebook was underwater for some time, large portions of Laundrie's writing were still legible. In what was written, Laundrie apologized to his family. He also requested in a general comment, possibly directed toward the public and media, to not make things any harder for his family than they already would be. Laundrie also wrote that his family had lost both a son and a daughter, referring to Petito. He also referred to Petito, whom he confessed to killing, as the most wonderful girl in the world. Laundrie wrote in the notebook, "Gabby, I'm sorry." Although Brian Laundrie had confessed in writing to killing Gabby Petito, he claimed it was a mercy killing and that she had been injured while hiking. A portion of the writing found in his notebook read, "I ended her life. I thought I was merciful, that it is what she wanted, but I see now all the mistakes I made. I panicked. I was in shock." In his written confession, Laundrie claimed that Petito fell into a creek in the dark while the two were returning to their van from a hike. Laundrie claimed, "When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she couldn't tell me what hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger. Her feet hurt, her wrist hurt, but she was freezing, shaking violently. Lying next to her, she said little, lapsing between violent shakes, gasping in pain, begging for an end to her pain." Laundrie went on to claim, "I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain." Based on her injuries, Laundrie says he decided to kill her. Although Petito's autopsy showed possible signs of hypothermia, a condition that's difficult to detect post-mortem, this justification for killing Petito has been rejected by experts. Speaking to Fox News, criminal profiler and psychotherapist John Kelly called Laundrie's version of events farcical. In that same recovered notebook, Laundrie also confessed to sending a series of text messages impersonating Petito, which authorities believe were meant to create the illusion that Petito was still alive. Elsewhere in the notebook, Laundrie expressed his intent to take his own life, writing, "From the moment I decided, took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. I have killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart, that it may make some of her family happy. Please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people who litter." Laundrie was determined to have died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. After portions of Laundrie's notebook were released to the public, authorities confirmed that there was no other person of interest in the case. Denver FBI Special Agent in Charge Michael Schneider said, "All logical investigative steps have been concluded. The investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito." If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.